we should put these on the X Media site, the slides.
We can't get Francisco's up because of technical difficulties. Go ahead.
Sorry. Which one goes for this one? So I'm going to talk about why we enjoy stories, and I chose this topic for a couple of reasons. First, because I really like stories, I really enjoy it, and during this course we had some opportunities to learn about the workshops and stuff, about the direction of movies, the photography of movies, and even the soundtrack, why it's important in this kind of things. But we didn't have the opportunity to learn about the structure of stories, which is something that's also very important. So to look into that, the other book, I guess. Yes. I looked mainly into these three books: story, the Poetics of Aristotle, and screenplay. These books focus more on the screenplay and movies, or even theater, but they are, I chose these are good stories because they are kind of short. They can't be too long. They can't have too many things. They can have to focus on such things, on some things. And I chose also Aristotle because to show that we've been trying to understand stories for more than 2,300 years. So it's even before him, but he's the first one that has registered that. So what makes a good story? First, one of the things that McKee talks about is you must have this archetypal quality to it, which is something that most people can relate to. It's a concept of experience that people can relate to it. Everybody can relate to this experience. Even Carl Jung, a psychologist, even talks about this concept a lot in his work. Another thing, talk about the structure is not necessarily a formula. It's a selection of events from the characters. It's part of the movies of these characters that will try to enact, to arouse specific emotions that you want to portray. An important thing that these books talk about, they don't say that you need to, there's not a formula. It's a set of principles, set of ideas that will make good stories. But it's not a formula, it's important. But it's kind of debatable because the seed field also has a little bit of a formula. And it's about the setup, the confrontation, and resolution, which even Aristotle talks about something like that in his book about the beginning, middle, and end. All stories have them. But seed field goes deeper into this, and he says that the setup is the first part of the story. He even says that the beginning of the story, the first 10 minutes are the most important because you know just from that beginning that if you're gonna like it or not. In the beginning, you have the exciting incident, some people call it, which will be something that will start the story, will start the problem. And then you have the middle, where we call it confrontation, which is when the story, with what the characters are trying to do, will be challenged. If the story is something easier, if the characters can just go and nothing stops them, then the story is uneventful. Nothing happens. And going back to the setup, is where you will present your characters, your settings, your context, everything will be in the beginning there. And then the ending, the climax or the resolution, and the resolution will have where everything will be solved, or maybe it won't be solved, but it will be the end of the story there. So another thing that's really important for a story is the characters and their motivation. Important is the characters, they must be believable. What does that mean? Which they must react in ways that you find possible. They must have a reason for those reactions. Also, they must have good motivations. They must be kind of, why he did that, why he behaves like that. You must understand that. and they must be interesting. And just an example, like portrayed in unusual ways, in some ways that maybe there's one example, then other things that makes interesting. Conflict also is very important. A story, like I said before, without conflict is boring, it's uneventful. You need to have conflict. Because stories basically are about a problem and the solving of this problem. If nothing stops this problem, nothing stops this character from achieving his goal, then you will feel bored, you feel like, why am I watching this story? You won't be engaged. And the important thing that stories must have is a message, not exactly a message, but a theme, a worldview, or a truth with a capital T, like McKee says. Which is not just one. Maybe the story has multiple themes and multiple things he's approaching, but this is very important for a story. It's truth. And all that's portrayed in the story must converge to that in such a way that you make sense. It's kind of foreseeable, but never predictable. You cannot be able to tell. If it is predictable, you won't be engaged. You won't be interested in that story. And the famous phrase, the famous quote, "Show, don't tell," is attributed to Chekhov, but he didn't actually say that in that way, but said something similar to that. And the iceberg theory by Hemingway, where you say you show just 1/10, and you leave the rest under the water. If a reader is paying attention, he will notice the rest. You don't need to give it all away. So I was reading about this, I read all these books, and I was thinking, oh, these are good principles. They make sense. They are truth. Most people know this kind of. When you see a good story, you know it's a good story, right? You know it's a bad story, like you mentioned about Frozen and stuff. You know. When I was thinking, why do we know this? Why does this make sense? And I had somewhat of a hard time finding literature on this, because I wasn't really asking the right questions. I didn't know how to approach this problem. But then I was reading, Bob helped me, sent me some things, and then I finally asked one right question, which was, why we read fiction? This is a book by Lisa Sunshine, where she approaches this problem, and she talks about some very interesting points. One thing she points out in this book is, what is the theory of mind and how it affects our relationship with story? I don't know if you've ever heard of it, probably, maybe. The theory of mind is that ability that we have, not everybody, but most people have as humans, to kind of assert a certain mind, a certain mind, to kind of like a mind reading, but not really, where we can understand what people are thinking about. If you see someone sad, you see, you see some people frowning, it's probably sad, or some people smiling. If people kick a rock or something, he will react in that way. We have this skill, this ability that allow us to kind of predict how people behave. And this is a really important skill in human society, because we are social animals. So we really need this. So this is a little illustration. It's kind of outdated, but
Could you read that out loud?
yeah. The man is talking to the obsessed wife. Of course I care about how you imagine, I thought, you perceived, I wanted you to. And I found more literature on the subject, like the aspect of challenges. We as humans, we enjoy challenges. We enjoy problem solving. We enjoy understanding things. It's pleasurable when we understand, wow, and also self-development. We crave for this. When we read a good story, we're emotional, we feel like we grow in some aspects. And the other thing that they are kind of entertainment. Not all good stories, not all stories do this, but there are kind of stories that are just fun, self-escape, just pure entertainment, but there are stories that are engaging, challenging, that requires some effort. We have to really pay attention. We have to get in the edge of our seats to understand what's happening, right? Just do the summary. We enjoy challenges solely because it is a sign of mental health as well. So I found understanding is pleasurable. We enjoy understanding. Conflict adds to the fictional challenge, increasing the stakes. We engage in the story because it's hard to know what's going to happen. Good characters add to that. We enjoy exercising this sphere of mind that we have. It's pleasurable. That's why when you read a character, you're like, oh, this character is interesting. He has little aspects that you don't really know, but you can understand. It's not something that doesn't make sense. If you look, you will find something, you will find, oh, this makes sense. This is interesting. And also the story. The story has to make sense, has to be logical, right? You have to follow something that's happening. It can't be something that's, if something weird happens, oh, this is cheap. This doesn't make sense. So we form another way of thinking about this is think of stories like a puzzle. Think of story like a puzzle. We go to the paradigm in the first part of the story. You present the rules of solving this puzzle, how you're going to do it, why you're going to solve it. In the confrontation, we're going to look for the things that are going to challenge you, are going to stop you from what you're trying to do. They're going to make it harder. And the revolution is when you see everything coming together. Everything will make sense in the end. There's another quote. Screenwriting is full of wonders, but no unsolvable mysteries. And every scene reveals at least one element of necessary information. So in movies, this is very visible because when you watch a movie, everything that's in the movie is important. Everything, every little piece of it makes sense. Everything adds to something. It could be something like even the soundtrack of a specific day of a boy searching for self-discovery, self-acceptance. It could even be something like this change of angles to note the shifting power. It can even be something small like the bookshelves, the books on the bookshelves being set in a certain way to portray something. You see? So I thought also, could this principle maybe be used in other communication media? Could this be done? I'm still looking into that, but maybe we could use the same set of principles to maybe in teaching or in other things. So this is it.